So I'm gonna bring us back to when I was 8 years old. I grew up in a trailer park in rural Alberta, and I was playing on the side of the road, and a pickup truck of older white people pulled up beside me and started really violently yelling at me. And I became the target of an aggressive verbal attack. And that was the first time I heard the N word. And so I ran home and I talked to my mom about it. And at 8 years old, I had to have a very real kind of confrontation of what it meant to be Black in rural Alberta, to be Black in Canada. And I recognize that that really started a long journey of understanding the how undesirable my Blackness is and how dangerous it is to be Black where I was growing up, where I live. Now, also growing up as an Indigenous person who doesn't look stereotypically Indigenous, I had access to a lot of unfiltered opinions and violence, cultural violence especially, from people around me who felt safe enough to be overtly racist towards Indigenous peoples, to someone who they didn't assume was Indigenous. Now, that really shaped and I really internalized a lot of that messaging, a lot of that hate, and a lot of that understanding that who I am and who I belong to is not safe, and it is not desirable. Now, structurally, I saw this reinforced all around me, and this is why I started getting involved in policy research and advocacy at around 11 years old, 12 years old. I come from a long generation or a long lineage of teachers who taught me how to see the policies, the education I was getting, the leaders that were shaping the spaces that I had to navigate, how all of that was reinforcing the structural violence that I was experiencing and that the people I belong to experience. And so that really played a role, and that lived experience really played a role in understanding my place in the world, my people's place in the world. And it really ushered me into an education and workspace that helped me and that helps me understand how this happens, why it happens, and where that's coming from. And that's why history is such an important part of the work that I do and how I understand structural, individual, and cultural violence today. Because so many of the realities that I experience, that my people experience, are living legacies of actions and inactions, of decisions, of overtly racist policies and science and research, and ways of being from a historical context that have transformed our realities today and that have shaped and reshaped into what we have to deal with. And so understanding that for me is healing, it's empowering, because then we're better able to transition from this state of negative peace where we're not addressing the root causes of injustices that lead to direct violence, but where we're addressing and contributing to positive peace, where we're acknowledging and understanding and have an awareness of the root causes of the injustices we have to navigate today so that we can address them and contribute to futures that that can honestly move forward in more ethical, sustainable, and just ways.